are in the battle, guys. I don't know if this is a new video or not, but perhaps it is. And we're both gonna kind of talk through it. We've got it on really slow, and we're gonna try and give a kind of shared perspective of how the game panned out. Bear in mind, we're both I don't want to say clueless, but we're a little bit rusty.
Well, we weren't really sure what our teams were supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
I think that's really what you're trying to get at.
Yeah, I kind of had to hover over each of my Pokemon at this start screen to see what sets I'd actually got with me and figure out what everything did. And based on the team, I decided to lead with my Matang. The only thing that I didn't like if you led with was Pangoro, which I have seen you lead a few times this season. But if you led Pangoro...
I don't know if I actually have led Pangoro this season. I think you're just talking rubbish.
No, I think you have. I'm almost
I
certain.
haven't really brought Pangoro much at all.
We'll go through the
I've only brought
replays.
Pangoro 4 times.
We'll go through the replays, and I will put on this video how many times you brought it, because we all know I remember to do these things. I'm superb at editing. But no, I think you have. But
I don't remember leading it, but there's always a chance. I mean, you've probably got a better memory than me.
I think. But you know, I may be mistaken. But and the other thing would be Persimmon. But then if you led with Persimmon, it was potentially just a Scarf U-turn lead. Not quite sure, and it wouldn't be Stab knockoff anyway. So it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So I decided to leave my time, and I'm gonna hit play now. And
yeah, so
you lead Pangoro.
I decided to actually lead with my Pangoro.
Yeah.
Because I realised he didn't really have such a thing as a dedicated lead as such.
No.
And if he was going to lead, I have 3 things on my team weak to rocks, so he's going to want that immediately.
Exactly. And that is why I just go for rocks turn 1, because I want to try and get the Macargo and things like that in range of Swallow later on in the game. So you get the double knockoff.
I have to admit, though, it was really convenient when you decided to actually sack off your Matang turn 2, because that immediately means that when I defog, rocks are actually gone.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to see later in the game, I do actually pack defog on my team. I did actually pick up another defog season, which I actually opted to bring.
And I'm actually just pausing it at the end of turn 3. Because, as you can see, I bring in the Sork to try and revenge kill the Pangoro. I realize that you probably have a dedicated switch in Sork, but looking at your team, I don't know what wants to take this close combat. At this point, like, I'm stunned that your Aselgor comes in and takes 36% from a close combat. I know it's a resisted hit, but 36% is like, it's nothing. It's
you've got to consider
nothing.
that Aselgor has 80 HP and only 40 base defense.
That's and Sork like hits
40.
I mean, albeit I'm not a boosting item, I'm leftovers, but I'm stunned by how little that does. I kind of at this point I am wishing that I was banded Sork, which I brought a few times. But even banded Sork, do I do more than 50% with a band?
You do Turkomi after rocks with a banded Sork, but you don't Turkomi without rocks. And the crucial thing to think about then is I'm going to outspeed you.
Exactly.
Because at this point I don't know if you're choice scarf or not.
Yeah, and we'll see here as I click play on turn 3, your leftovers pops, and you do outspeed me, and just as I expect you to have, you do tech the recover as I go out into Isaac the Licky Licky. Licky Licky was a really safe switch in here. You had to run Focus Blast to be able to hit me, but I knew that you would just recover back to full, and there was just nothing I could do about it. I could potentially have gone for a... Pardon?
You can also tell I'm a defensive set as well, with the fact that I only took 36% from a CC.
Yeah, and I was tempted to go for a laser focus knockoff, but it just didn't seem... I don't know, it didn't seem worth it at that point, revealing my full set.
I agree.
You get the Toxic off on Licky Licky.
That was smart.
Yeah, I think it had to be done, as I Toxic you back. I'm okay with this, because I know I have Heal Bell, but, you know, I figured you probably thought I'd be a Cleric set, as a Curse set would make a lot of sense with your fighting options, as you said as well.
Yeah. So... figuring you'd probably want to go for Heal Bell sooner rather than later,
yes,
I actually opt to go into my Rufflet here, because that gives me a free defog essentially.
Yeah.
I'm not hugely concerned if I get Toxicked, but getting rid of the rocks is really, really good for stuff like a Aselgor switching into Sork, and Magcargo potentially having to switch into Swallow as well.
Yeah, and I don't really have a switch into what could be an offensive superpower coming off here. That's what I'm fearing, a potential life or superpower. So I have to go into Checkmate the Gramble, try and intimidate you. As you get a Roost off, I just go for the safe Super Fang here because, I don't know what you're going to switch out into. I don't think you're necessarily staying with Rufflet, so I may as well Super Fang. And I think I double Super Fang because I think you'll switch out again. And I don't want you to just go to Roost Up. Yeah, so I catch the Macargo here on the switch, and the Flame Body pops. And you're a Rocky Helmet Macargo, which is a pretty interesting set here.
Yeah, so I'm just going to pause at the end of turn 10, which is what I've just got to.
Okay.
I actually opted for a Rocky Helmet Macargo because I wasn't sure what sort of Swallow you'd bring.
Yes.
If you weren't a choice set, then you are more than likely going to have Boom Burst, U-Turn, quite possibly a Facade Brave Bird set with Hidden Power like last time.
Yeah.
So if you're Brave Birding with Flame Orb, you've got Stealth Rocks, Rocky Helmet, that thing's going to get worn down super fast, especially if it catches a burn or something if you are a Choice Scarf set like last time.
Yeah.
So if I can switch this thing in on a U-Turn frequently, you're just taking a free... I mean, if rocks are up, they're taking like 38% damage.
Yeah.
And it stacks up really quick.
Really quick, and that was one of the reasons that I didn't run the physical set again, was because I knew you had one or two bulky mons that could potentially be a problem. I didn't want to see Swallow just get worn down within 5 turns and be useless. So anyway, I go out into Andrew the Sork on turn 10, and I think I just go for the laser focus here, knowing that you won't stay in with the Macargo and let me close combat you. I want to be able to put some chip onto something, and I didn't bother to calc this turn against Rufflet. I just go straight up for the knockoff, thinking that I will kill. I do 38%, and you're able to Brave Bird me down to 5%. You do, of course, die to recoil, though. Do you want to just talk about your
at this point,
set?
I knew I would be... Yeah, okay. I'm just going to, after I've dropped you down to 5, I'm just going to pop the pause.
Yes, yeah.
So my Rufflet was actually there predominantly for Grumpig. Being honest, because with the team I've built, if you have Earthquake and Play Rough, I don't have switch-ins.
Oh, for Gramble.
I originally had Drampa on the team instead of Ruffler, and I had something else instead of Persimmon, and the team evolved. And I actually decided that because I'm going to be switching in, you're going to be switching in Grumpig a lot, you're more than likely going to have Rest. So I needed something that's reliably going to be able to switch in on Sleep Talks and be able to actually get, even if it's just a little bit of chip back in return. Yeah. But it can never be turret KO'd, which is the crucial thing. Because even after it means I get a free defog on it. And it does actually take a hit from Sork fairly respectably.
Yeah.
I'll just drop a calc in for you.
Yes.
Rufflet versus... I mean, I only take 40 to 47% from a CC. I don't even get turret KO'd.
So
fun fact, that Brave Bird was a min roll.
Had I fired off a close combat instead of a knockoff, I would actually have killed you. I was sure a crit knockoff would kill a... I should have run the calc, but like it's a Rufflet. I don't think there's any way you were living a crit knockoff from like 50-odd%. I thought it was an easy kill at that point. So that was probably an oversight, but I didn't want to drop my defense because if I outsped you, which I thought I would, I killed you with a knockoff. I didn't have to drop my defense, and then I'm still got my sturdy intact to fire up a close combat. And looking at your team, nothing really wanted to deal with that.
What is my switch in? Exactly.
Yeah, or I could maybe laser focus up on the Acelgor, which you've already shown me doesn't look like it's running a coverage move to hit me particularly. So that's why I got a bit greedy and went for the knockoff, because I didn't want to drop my defenses. But you brought good prep. That's a very bulky bird. So we'll hit play on...
it's a very bulky bird.
Yeah, so
at this moment, I have a choice. I can go into my Acelgor here, which is going to take a hit very, very, very effectively.
Yes.
I actually go for a Toxic Spike here, because I obviously don't expect the Protect, because that's just mad. But I did predict him to switch out.
Yes.
Because he can't touch me.
I went for the Protect.
This Toxic Spike is crucial for my team plan. But anyway, go through the one for the Protect. That's incredible.
I went for the Protect just to get a little bit of health back. I wanted to scout whether you were actually running any coverage for me and what it was if you had it. It didn't really seem like you were, and I suddenly became afraid that if I went for a laser focus on that turn, which I was tempted to do, you could just hazard stack on me and I would be in a pretty bad position. And even with a crit, I'm not going to do an awful lot to you. So I decided to go out into Swallow thinking, okay, I don't think you have anything really. And you fire off the Infestation, which does 7%, so it's not too bad. And Swallow can now fire off a Boom Burst. It doesn't do a lot to Macargo, but 39's okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to pause the video at the start of turn 16.
Yep.
Yeah, so when he brought out the Swallow, I have to immediately work out what sort of set he is.
Yes.
Because as soon as I work that out, I can work out what my proper response is.
Yes.
Now, I had to put some work in for the calc there, but he did 39%, which is just above the range. Or it's a low roll for modest specs.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no other set he could possibly be. He is guaranteed choice specs, which means that my Credilli now infinitely will Swallow.
Yes,
which is crucial because it means that Magcargo isn't relied on for the Swallow.
You can see why early game though those stealth rocks mattered to me, because had you switched in on rocks, took 25%, then took 39 from that Boom Burst.
Anyway.
You were going to be pretty
sure
low.
I don't get 3 KO'd.
No,
I would have been really low, but I do have access to recover, of course.
Because on the switch in, 25 plus 40 call it is 65, then another 40 KOs you before you can recover. So you would have had to take Macargo out into Cradilly there had I kept rocks up, which is a real problem. Because
never mind, Boom Burst is a guaranteed 2 KO after Stealth Rock.
Yeah,
I changed my set.
Yeah, so
that right with Stealth Rocks up, you would have actually 2 KO me.
And that was my thinking. It's just losing rocks put me in such a bad position. But I figured that you would, because I brought it in on a Selgor, it looked like it was probably a physical set, which made Macargo the more likely switch in. If you brought in Macargo, that meant that I could potentially bring in Licky Licky afterwards and then try and wish up my Sork. So that was like, I was trying to think, okay, so how do I play around this? I want to bring in Macargo and then I could try and play into Sork that way. Wasn't 100% sure I could pull it off, but that was my kind of hope. So I do bring in Licky Licky. I'm going to press play now on turn 16. As you just go for the recover, which I figured might be happening. It seemed fairly free at that point for you to do that.
I actually misclicked Toxic right there.
Oh, really?
I had to click cancel really quickly.
Yeah, that would have been a problem. And then I just get to wish. And at this point, I don't remember exactly what I do go for here.
Yeah, so I went for Stealth Rock. I didn't expect the wish necessarily, but this turn here, I knew that I was never ever letting you wish past. So
yeah.
I was always going to stay in and flamethrower here.
And once you got
you had a free turn.
Yeah, and once you got the rocks up, I realized that like Sork wasn't coming in safely on rocks plus poison anyway. So I was like, okay, that game plan's gone. I was going for a risky switch to begin with, and now it's completely off the table. As you go out into Persimmon here, and I just double Toxic because I don't think you're staying with Macargo.
It's a great play. It's a great play.
I want to get some chip on something.
Yeah, of course. You can see I don't have a Cleric on my team.
Yes.
Nothing on my team gets any sort of Cleric options. So that was a really, really smart play, and it means that you have a switch in already, so you don't have to be concerned about it.
Yes, yeah, and we go out into Checkmate the Gramble on this Persimmon that just fires off the close combat, and what this means is that I'm actually seeing that's banded damage there, and I'm like, okay,
definitely banded.
I'm just gonna rest up because you're only gonna do 25%. I can heal off my burn. And I know I've got Sleep Talk on this anyway. I can potentially get Heal Bell off with Licky Licky later. I'm happy just to try and get some HP back on Gramble because it is so important in this game.
So I opted... Oh, go on, sorry, continue.
No, I was going to say, and you choose to go into Macargo here on the Gramble.
Yeah, I've actually got quite a lot of physical defense investment. So with that, I know by the fact you had Super Fang, you had Sleep Talk. I'm pretty sure you're going to have Sleep Talk with Rest.
Yes.
And almost certainly going to have Play Rough. I don't see you ever running that. So at this point, Macargo is a very safe switch into Gramble.
Yeah.
So it's now my dedicated switch into
you
that.
can rest assured I don't have Earthquake.
Time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that became a bit of a problem as the game plans out. But you make a really nice double into Cradilly here. And I think more than anything, when you pull that double into Cradilly that I'm crapping myself. That in my head, panic buttons are being hit everywhere. Toxic Spikes mean that my Sork tech with the Protect and Leftovers wouldn't have worked at this point anyway. I mean, Sork's so low it doesn't matter. But T-Spikes were a problem for that set, even if I'd kept Sork at full. But I have to kind of use my I have to use my bulky Sceptile here. So on turn 23,
Yeah. So
yes, on 23.
The start of turn 24, I'm just going to give it a quick pause.
Yes.
So yeah, running through this critically really quick. I know that Matt is going to be absolutely wiping his mind about Credilli. He, because I've given him problems all the way through the season, I've been winding him up about Credilli, and last time I didn't bring it.
Yes.
And I think that threw him off more than anything else.
Yes. Yes.
So I wanted to see how he'd react. Now I have brought it.
And this
if you look on his team, his 2 best checks for Credilli are dead.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, 100%.
Tang, which Credilli can't touch, and Sork, which is the only way to properly break me.
Yeah.
They are both gone, which is huge.
Yeah.
My Credilli has a little bit of speed investment, so I can outspeed Licky Licky, which means I get a free substitute up when he tries to toxic me.
Yeah, and it's...
Licky Licky generally can't do anything to Credilli outside of toxic.
Yes.
So that's going to force him to switch out, and that's the idea.
Yeah.
Because it's forcing something else to come in on this point, the toxic spikes, and it's forcing it to sit there.
And it's worth mentioning at this point, when you click the substitute here...
do you want to just continue from turn 24?
Yes, yeah. And when you click the substitute on me, I just go for the wish. This is on turn 23 still. The reason that I just go for that wish and let you sub up is because I figured that you... oh, can you not hear me? Hello? We might be right back, guys. We might have to make a quick cut here.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Have you got me?
Edits.
Yeah. Well, I carried on talking, but I'll resume mid...
I thought you might have done.
I'll refresh you...
I have no idea what you were saying.
Yeah, I'll refresh you to what I was saying. So, I'm just going to... I said that I'd make a cut, so I'll rejoin and carry on. Okay, guys, and we're back. We just had a bit of technical difficulties there. But yeah, what I was saying, Ben, is that I go for the wish here as you get your substitute for free with the Cradilly. Because I'm thinking that you are probably a setup variant. That's what you have beaten me down with every time you've used this thing against me. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a curse or a barrier, some kind of setup. And I don't fear that because I know that I have this Sceptile set in the back, which just never gets destroyed by you. And always laser focus fighting Yimzizu. So I'm like, let's Ben have his moment. Let him have his little barrier. Nothing to worry about. You curse up Benjamin. That's fine. I don't care. But instead you go for a substitute, which never entered my thinking that you might run sub Cradilly. Not even once did that enter my thinking.
Anyone that's ever run sub Cradilly.
I just like, and at this point I'm like, oh god, because now I have to start landing focus blasts. And that's a real problem because I don't have any other way of breaking the sub on my team. Sork is too low.
I'm just curious. Does what's it called? Oh, I've forgotten now. What's the grassy thing? Sceptile.
Sceptile. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious to see how much it does to my Credilly with an energy ball.
And
energy ball actually does break a sub.
On turn 24, I go... Oh, does it? I didn't know that, damn it. On turn 24, I go into Andrew the Sork, trying to get that wish. You make the correct play and go for the... Giga Drain. The reason that I kind of made that aggressive play was because I was just not getting any chances to get Sork back up to health. And this seemed like one where you might now go for... either setup
I went for a setup move,
ingrain or infestation. These kind of moves I could see coming out from you, so I had to make the aggressive play, I think.
I do understand why you made that play. I don't think there's anything you could do to get it in again.
Yes.
So
and you make the correct play going for the Giga Drain, of course.
Yeah, I knew you weren't. I knew I had to make sure you couldn't get it in.
Yeah.
It was as simple as that. Really.
And it was more than possible that this set just was like a sub ingrain infestation toxic. You could have had no real offensive pressure from all I knew at this point. I maybe should have gone for the protect with the Licky Licky to scout. Maybe that would have been an interesting play. But as you say, it was just... I didn't have a lot of chances with Sork. So anyway, carrying on now from turn 25. We obviously go to Sceptile. I didn't... Does Energy Ball always break Cradilly sub, even if you're max per def?
Yeah. I'm pretty much max per def.
I did not...
I'm 192 calm.
I
I
definitely
mean, you
made.
just didn't count it.
I just didn't count,
You
which was
guaranteed do 25% to a fully specially defensive set.
that's stupid. Okay,
25% is the min roll.
I definitely make a mistake there then, because I go for the focus blast and missed. That's what focus blast does. I'm well aware that I'm in a tricky situation here trying to land focus blast on you. And you then reveal the protect, which is really nice just to wear me down with the T spikes. This set, leftover sub protect Cradilly is really nice against my team.
Well, the actual
the
general
T
idea
spikes.
of it was to actually stall out Sork's close combats. Because it's your best switch in, all I have to do is set up a sub on the Licky Licky. You go into Sork, and then you have to click close combat to break the sub. I can protect and I can sub up again. I can recover. It doesn't matter. Once I've wasted 3 or 4, maybe even 5 close combats,
Yeah.
that means that the rest of my team is then safer from close combats, if that makes sense.
Yes, yeah. And I do eventually land the focus blast on the third one, and you're going to Giga Drain me down to 1% here, but 14%, sorry, but then the poison takes me down to 1%, I believe. And at this point, I'm thinking, I'm just going to pause it at the end of turn 28. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't think you stay in with this Cradilly because this is a Z user. I have shown Focus Blast. You know me that I don't often like running Focus Blast and inaccurate moves without having a Z thrown on it. So I'm guessing that you had a suspicion it could be Fightinium Z. And even if I go for the Fightinium Z, you have a free protect. And I'm just like, there's no point.
I'll be brutally honest. I haven't team built in ages. I hadn't even thought about the fact this was Z.
Oh,
I'll
okay,
be honest.
fair.
But I had the freest protect here ever.
Yeah, well, that's what I was
It
gonna say.
really made no difference.
It
whatsoever.
didn't seem worth switching into anything because if I fired off a big Fightinium Z, something's gonna get badly hurt. All you have to do is protect and take like 20% from the potential Z move, and that's nothing. So I was like, I have to preserve Sceptile either as sack fodder later on or as an Endeavor Mon, because that might be the way that I win here. Looking at this, I'm thinking my best chance of winning is probably to Endeavor down either the Macargo or the Cradilly and then get a bit lucky somewhere. So I do preserve.
Well, I don't think you'd. I don't know if you'd ever be able to Endeavor down the Cradilly, because at this point,
protect,
stuff like a Cellbore is completely useless.
Yeah.
So now I've seen the fact you have Focus Blast and I don't know, I haven't seen Energy Ball. You're going to have Grass Stab.
Yes.
I have a free switch in.
Yes.
Like it's unlikely you will have recovery, seeing as you switched out there.
Yes.
So all I need to do is just sack the Cellbore at that point.
Yes, and I go for the defog on your protect because I figure you'll go for protect to see what I specs myself into, and I might as well just get these hazards down for Sceptile anyway, so that I can try and endeavor something later in the game. That seems like my only win con. Yes, it gives you Pangoro for free, but I still have Gramble in the back that I can go into. I still have my Kebia Berry in check, so I'm not going to take too much from this thing. Ideally, as you just parting shot out.
Yeah, so I know you're going to go into. You had to switch. It was simple as that.
Yeah.
You're going to switch into Gramble because you're not going to swich into anything else. So it was a free parting shot, to be honest.
Yes. And then you reveal the Iron Head. The Iron Head.
Straight into Persimmon. Now, I actually predicted you to go with a Kebia Berry for the leftovers.
Yeah.
I just didn't think you go for the Berry Berry.
Yes.
So both Persimmon and Pangoro had Iron Head. So even if you did have the Berry Berry, one of them's going to slap you, then the other one can slap you in the same way.
Yeah, so the fact that I sleep talk a Super Fang here, ideally I would have sleep talked a Play Rough, but it's not really too much of an issue because you would have just killed me then afterwards with Pangoro anyway, or Macargo or anything else from this range. And we get a sleep talk Play Rough the next turn into Macargo when really I would have liked a Super Fang. But again,
I mean,
it's not
you didn't pull rest, so I mean, at the very least, you got free damage. I really didn't expect you to stay in there. I expected you just to go into Sceptile, sack that thing off. I take another 18% toxic damage.
Okay. That makes sense.
Why I switched there.
Into the Macargo.
Because you still needed Gramble for Pangoro.
Yes.
Because in my eyes, as soon as this thing's gone, Pangoro sweeps.
Pangoro sweeps. The flip side of that is that if I lose Sceptile, I lose Endeavor, and at that point, I just don't break anything. So it was kind of like I either lose my offensive check or I lose my defensive check. I don't know that Swallow is going to get outsped by either Persimmon or Pangoro yet. So as far as I'm concerned, I've got to assume that Swallow outspeeds both of those and kills both of those, in which case my best thing to do is to keep Sceptile alive, to endeavor one of your defensive checks.
No, I can understand that now. I know you're set. Yeah, it's one of those things in the game.
100%.
I clicked Iron Head and then I clicked off it. I clicked Iron Head. I clicked Cancel. I clicked Iron Head. I think I clicked Iron Head like 5 times and then eventually decided to go into Mag Cargo.
Which I think is the better play.
Because I didn't want it to happen the other way around.
But I don't think you lose anything by it either, because yes, I get Gramble back up to health, but I'm still in a tricky position where I have to rest up against something that does 3-hit KO me with the Flamethrower, so I'm going to press play now on turn 35. But yeah, so I'm not really in that great of a position anyway. I'm still getting worn down very fast by this Macargo. I still have to go out into Licky Licky. And here, turn 36 is a really interesting turn, because you go out into Pangoro as I go into Licky Licky. And I very nearly went into Swallow that turn. And in the game, I was kicking myself for not going into Swallow, thinking that could have potentially put a lot more pressure on you, because at that point, Macargo was in range of 2 Boom Bursts, and you'd have to go into Cradilly, but and then I could maybe go into Sceptile and Endeavor you, whatever it may be. So I was really kicking myself at that point, but we'll get into that after the game a little bit, because there's more information there that I didn't know at that point. But you actually just Drain Punch into the Gramble, and then go out into the Persimmon as I Sleep Talk a Rest, which sucked. It would have been nice to have pulled something there, but that's Sleep Talk. It is what it is. It
was very beneficial for me to... I mean, there was a 1 in 3 chance you weren't going to be able to, or 2 in 3 chance you weren't going to be able to kill me.
Exactly. It was more in your favour than mine.
That was fine.
I agree, and I have no complaints, because like you say, it's a 60% chance that I don't KO you. So I'm playing my luck there, hoping to get something rather than expecting to get anything. As your Persimmon now, obviously goes into range of Swallow. I think I just clicked U-turn here on turn 39, expecting you to want to go out into one of your dedicated Swallow checks. Probably the Cradilly, and hoping that I can get Gramble and Super Fang you. But you go into the Aselgor, and that's not ideal for me, because...
Wait, what turn are you on?
40, turn 40 now.
You completely skipped turn 39.
I did?
Yeah. Never mind.
Yes.
We'll just gloss over the fact that close combated you.
Yeah, sorry, we'll go back to that. We'll run that back. Yes. Oh yeah, of course. Well, that was actually...
I'll just run you very quickly through my mindset there. So Gramble, it still had 1 more turn of sleep.
Yes.
And I 2-hit KO you with a close combat. And nothing on your team comes in to a banded close combat.
Yes.
Because the check you have is already on the field. It's already at half health. So all I need to do is close combat you. If you pull Rest, great, I 2-hit KO you. If you pull Super Fang or the other, oh dear, I die. But guess what? I can just go into something else, revenge kill you, and roll from there, essentially. That was my thought process there.
And because I fully expect you, even if you Iron Head, I believe you 2-hit KO my Licky Licky with Iron Head. So I just can't, I don't have a switch into this either way. What you do effectively is you really preserve those poison turns, and you stop that counter, rather than having to fire off 2 Iron Heads into the Licky Licky, you call it and get the straight drop, which is nice. And I was happy to sack Licky Licky, because at this point I'm realizing, I'm not wishing anything back up anymore. It's just not happening.
And you don't really want Cradilly getting a free sub either, I guess.
Exactly. The only way I win here is to try and pull some Super Fangs and a good Endeavor on the right Pokemon at the right time, and then sweep the Swallow. So yeah, you fire off the close combat. I go into Swallow, back to turn 40 now, and I U-turn because I don't expect you to sack off your Persimmon here. There's no reason to. When you have a Cradilly in the back and whatever else, you go into the Aselgor, which...
Yeah, I actually just opted to sack Aselgor there.
Makes sense.
On the off chance you went for a Boom Burst.
Makes
was
sense.
Kind of scouting if you... I don't really know what it was scouting for. It just meant I didn't have to go directly into Cradilly, I guess.
Yeah. Which it actually puts me in a difficult position, because I want the Gramble in on the Cradilly to try and pull a Sleep Talk Super Fang, just in the hope that you don't go for a sub or something like that. So it really puts me in a difficult position, because I don't want to be in on the Aselgor.
Yeah.
You get the switch out into Macargo, which know is always free.
Yeah, so turn 42 was it was another quite an interesting turn, because on my side, I just expect you to go for a rest.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I knew I had Rocky Helmet, and Flamethrower plus Rocky Helmet puts you in, or Rocky Helmet puts you into Flamethrower range.
Yes.
So I just went for a flamethrower here, and the off chance you happen to stay in and either click the Sleep Talk accidentally or whether you click Superfang.
Yes.
And you do actually click Superfang. I wonder, did you actually forget that I had the Rocky helmet?
Well, my reasons was twofold. One, I forgot you had Rocky Helmet. It didn't enter my thinking. But two, I'm realizing that at this point, Persimmon isn't Scarf, and it dies to a Boom Burst, of course. And I was for whatever reason, I was absolutely convinced Pangoro was Z. I think it's one of your Z users, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, yeah.
And because I'd seen you were Adamant, I think, but I hadn't seen.
I think I'm Adamant.
I'm pretty sure you are, but I hadn't seen
I am Adamant.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen a Life Orb, and I hadn't seen
any boosting item.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, he's probably Z, maybe Scarf. If he's Scarf, I think I just lose anyway because you're getting towards a point where you could lock into Gunk Shot and sweep.
I can lock into Drain Punch. I don't even need to lock into Gunk Shot.
There you go. So I'm kind of thinking, I don't know how much Gramble is worth keeping it alive. The way I win here is I Boom Burst and I Endeavor the Cradilly. Because now the Macargo can't live a Boom Burst, the Aselgor can't live a Boom Burst, the Persimmon can't live a Boom Burst. I don't know the Pangoro rolls. I've just got to hope it Okos because I don't have a lot else to do.
It does. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it does. And then I have to Endeavor the Cradilly. So somehow, some way, that's the only thing that I can do.
I think the trouble is with Cradilly, you actually, you have an Oko after Stealth Rocks on Pangoro, so you do 99% min.
So
the trouble with Sweat Septile is you left it too low.
Yes.
You can't ever Endeavor my Cradilly at this point.
Yes.
Because if I'm switching it in, then you have a chance.
Yeah.
But if I click Protect as you switch it in, then I can just click Protect again.
Yeah.
If you switch it in on a clean turn, I can just click Protect again. I mean, you can't do it at that point.
Yeah.
You can't physically get it in. Even if you U-turn, you're going to take the poison damage.
Exactly, and that's what occurred to me. That's what occurred to me after I let Gramble go down. I was like, wait, I can't, because as I bring out Swellow here, I'm thinking, okay, I bring out Swellow, you probably go into Cradilly, I click U-turn, then I Endeavor you, I bring back in Swellow, I sweep and I win. Then it occurs to me as I bring it in, crap, if I U-turn into Sceptile, I take the poison damage. I'd forgotten that I hadn't got a heal bell off with Licky Licky. And I realized at this point there's just no way out here. I have to just lock myself into Boom Burst as you do go into Cradilly. And as you rightly say, it wouldn't have mattered anyway because you had that Protect. With the poison, you could have Endeavored me, but for some reason I'd got it in my head that I'd got a heal bell off and I wasn't poisoned anymore. Which was just stupid, but that was what I was thinking. And then obviously Cradilly's free here just to make sure you win. Now
I got to do what I wanted to do the entire season and stall you with Cradilly.
Yes.
So I'm happy.
And what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut this off here. I don't know if this is the second video or the third video, or the first. But we're going to cut this off here, guys, and then we're going to go over the post-game kind of stuff in another video. Definitely, I know that all of this can't be one video. So if you guys enjoyed this battle, please show some support down below. This is the first time we've ever made a final, and it was amazing to do it with a good friend of mine.
Exactly. I want to congratulate you for your fantastic season because you drafted an amazing team. You pulled your way through. You managed to get yourself top of your division, and our division. You got yourself top of our division
somehow,
and you managed to get yourself all the way to the finals. So congratulations, man!
No, thank you, and congratulations on your win. And if you guys don't choose to watch the post game talk that will be uploaded after this, that's fair enough. But show some love for Ben down in the comment section as well because he managed to win the LTC with the team ranked only one place higher than Mono Flying. Other than that, he was a rock bottom team. So an incredible season. Definitely something you should be proud of.
Thank you very much. I'll take 7-0 win streak at the start of the season.
yes, incredible.
I'm quite happy locking playoffs after week 7 and then just memeing.
Yes. But I mean, why not? If you can do it, why not? But with that, guys, I will see you guys in the next one.